Gentlemen, you're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
Welcome to the land of pleasant living. Sometimes life in Southern California can be like a day at the beach. But forget that. It's all about baseball tonight as the Yankees have made their way west to Angel Stadium, where tonight the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It was the Yankees against the Los Angeles Angels from Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. Hi, everybody. Ken Singleton along with John Flaherty tonight. Well, the Yankees split the 4 games against Houston in Houston at Minute Maid Park, and now they make their way west to Angel Stadium. The Yankees are going to have to win 2 out of 3 here to make this a winning road trip. Well, let's check out the pitching matchup tonight, brought to you by People's United Bank NA. See what know-how can do for you. For the Angels, it'll be C.J. Wilson making the start, 5-6 for a 3.92 ERA. The Yankees beat him earlier this month at Yankee Stadium. And for the Yankees, C.C. Sabathia gets the start. He's had 3 straight no decisions. He's looking for a win, 3-7 with a 5.65. And tonight, John, C.C. is going to have to deal with 2 of the tougher hitters in the league.
Well, it's really going to be Mike Trout and Albert Pujols, the main guys in the lineup for the Angels. Trout, obviously, with his power, 19 home runs already. He also has speed, has stolen 8. And Albert Pujols really having a rebound year here in California. 23 home runs already, has dealt with some left foot issues in the past. Those days are over. I don't think if anybody expected Albert Pujols to rebound the way he has this year. But if you're Sabathia tonight, you take care of these 2 guys, you're going to have a good ball game.
When you look at the numbers for both these ball clubs, your 3 and 4 hitters are having outstanding seasons. Super sluggers, to say the least. You can see the numbers for Trout, a 300 hitter, 19 home runs. Pujols leads the league with 23 homers. Alex Rodriguez and Mark Teixeira, they have been the backbone of the Yankee attack all season long. Well, one last look at the scenic Pacific before the sun sets here in the West. Lineups, first pitch, and baseball coming up next right here on Yes. We now come inside. Should be a good crowd on hand on this Monday night. Yankees' only trip here to Anaheim this year. Let's check out the weather presented by Bigelow Tea. As you can see, just a beautiful night for baseball. 79 degrees, humidity 42%, a little bit high for this area of the country. The wind at 6 miles per hour, and the forecast mostly clear and pleasant. The Angels have yet to take the field. There's CC Sabathia, who has finished his warm-up tosses for tonight. CC's last win, by the way, came against these Angels on June 7th at Yankee Stadium. So it's been a while. The Yankees won that game by a score of 6-2. The 2 runs that CC gave up, John, were home runs by Trout and Pujols in the first inning. Then he settled down after that.
And then he settled down. You wonder, coming out here to Anaheim, maybe have some positive thoughts. And we talked about it in the open, Kenny. If you take care of Trout and Pujols, really the 2 guys who are getting it done in this lineup, as a ball club, they are struggling a little bit offensively. So we'll pay attention to how Sabathia attacks the middle of the lineup for the Angels.
Well, CC and the Yankees come in with a record of 41-35. They started today with a 1-game losing streak. They lost the last game in Houston, just a half a game out of first place. But when you looked at the scoreboard early tonight, 3 teams that all bunched up in the Eastern Division, the 3 other teams with the Yankees, 2 of them lost and 1 was losing. So a chance for the Yankees to gain some ground on just about everybody in the Eastern Division. The Angels are taking the field. They come in with a record of 39-37. They've won 2 in a row, and they are 4 games behind in the Western Division, trailing the Houston Astros. Let's check out the Yankees starting lineup as presented by Lexus. And at the very top, it's going to be Brett Gardner. He's red hot. His average for the season up to 300. Chris Young will be in left field. Alex Rodriguez will be the DH. Cleaning up will be Mark Teixeira at first base, followed by Carlos Beltran, then Chase Headley at third. Jose Pirela gets the start at second base tonight. John Ryan Murphy will do the catching, and batting ninth and playing shortstop, Didi Gregorius.
Well, that lineup for the New York Yankees going to face the veteran left-hander C.J. Wilson. Taking his warm-up tosses. We'll look at his numbers on the year. 16th start, 5-6. The ERA just under 4. We'll look at our pitcher's scouting report, which is brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. He's coming off the shortest start of his season. 3 1/3, 7 earned runs against the Houston Astros. He's looking for a little bullpen help. Bullpen ERA in his starts 5.24. It's under 3 for all the other starters. He does a great job with the running game. Only 1 stolen base over his last 11 starts.
Well, Wilson in his career against the Yankees, 4 wins and 4 losses. I mentioned that that win that CC Sabathia had, that was Wilson's loss on June the 7th. Time to check out the defense for the Angels behind C.J. Wilson. As we look to the outfield first from left to right, it's going to be Daniel Robertson in left, Mike Trout in center. Cole Calhoun will be in right field. David Freese at third, Eric Ibar at short. Johnny Giovitella at second. C.J. Cron just back up from the minor leagues. Will be playing first base tonight. Carlos Perez is doing the catching for C.J. Wilson. Just about ready to go. We mentioned that Brett Gardner is going to be our game changer, brought to you by T-Mobile. And Gardner had a great series in Houston. And here's what he's done in the last week. He's hit an even 500, 13 for 26. 6 of those 13 hits have been for extra bases, 6 runs batted in. He has scored 9 runs, and he is the American League Player of the Week. Congratulations to Brett Gardner. And he will be leading it off for the Yankees here. If you want to run it out, those at-bats a little further, Gardner is 22 for his last 45, which works out to a .489 batting average over his last 10 ball games. He has been red hot.
And you know what it means, Kenny? The batting average now at 300. When he got started that hot streak, I think he started at 262. We're not talking the month of April. This is the month of June.
Yeah,
end of June.
It's kind of hard to run your batting average up that high so quickly. First pitch from Wilson is in there for a call strike. Wilson allowed 3 home runs in that game in New York on June 7th. One of them was to Brett Gardner. Next pitch, line drive towards right center field. It's going to be in there at least for a base hit. Gardner rounding first. He's on his way for second. Calhoun has a strong arm, but it's not in time. Gardner does it again, gets the Yankees started with a 2-base hit here in the first inning.
Well, nothing new for Brett Gardner. Saw it in Houston. Had a great series there. You get on a plane, you travel out to California. The second pitch you see, you hammer it to right center field. Kenny, you mentioned it. Calhoun, a strong throwing arm, but Brett Gardner just in there before the throw. The Yankees all set up here in the first inning. A little leadoff double.
That is double number 20 on the season for Brett Gardner. And that'll bring up Chris Young, who also had a good series in Houston. Although he did have a 10-game hitting streak broken yesterday. That was the longest streak of his career. First pitch, and he'll take it for a call strike from Wilson. Chris Young went 6 for 14 against the Astros in the 4-game series and jumped his average up to 267. Had 2 home runs in the Houston series as well, and now in double figures with 10 on the season. Pitch is low, and it's a ball and a strike. Let's go back the last 11 games, Flash, and anything over 400, that means you are officially on fire.
We know that Chris Young does a great job against left-handed pitching, but during that stretch, it has not mattered whether it's a righty or a lefty. He's been on fire.
Next pitch, downstairs, ball 2, 2-1. 388 against left-handed pitching this year, and he has started every game in which the Yankees have faced a left-handed start. He and Mark Teixeira are the only 2 Yankees to do so. The 2-1 pitch is popped up to the right side out to short right field. Coming on is Calhoun. Going back is Gianfratella, and it's going to be Calhoun who makes the catch. No advance for Brett Gardner, so there's 1 down. Wilson over the backup third in case it was a throw. And by that reaction, you know who's coming to the plate. Alex Rodriguez, who over the years has just hammered the Angels. 70 career home runs against the Angels, his most against any team. And he asked Alex why he does so well against the Angels. He said the weather's always nice out here, good playing conditions, usually pretty good crowds on hand, so he gets fired up. He's got a runner at second in scoring position with 1 out. And the first pitch misses inside for ball 1. Here in Anaheim, 99 games, 325, 38 of those 70 homers. And in 99 games, he has driven in 85 runs. Game number 100 for Alex in this ballpark. Next pitch, and that is in there for a call strike. The home plate umpire is Manny Gonzalez. Paul Schreiber is at first. Fielding Culbreth, the crew chief at second, and Jim Reynolds making the calls around at third. Wilson keeping an eye on Gardner at second. He does have 15 steals. Only been caught 3 times.
Kenny, thinking back to those numbers we just showed for Alex Rodriguez here in Anaheim. Great place to hit. Fast infield, ball gets through quickly.
But also on the flip side, there's been some pretty good pitching staffs here with the Angels. So that's legit getting it done.
1 ball and 2 strikes on the swing and a miss. Here's Angel manager Mike Scioscia. 16 years he's been managing the Angels. It's the longest tenured manager in Major League Baseball. Foul tipped into the glove of Perez, and that'll be it for Alex Rodriguez. He's a strikeout victim. 2 down.
Little something extra on that fastball. When you think about C.J. Wilson, usually it's about 90 miles an hour with the velocity. That at 92. Throws a lot of sliders and changeups. Able to get a fastball right by Alex Rodriguez.
So 2 down, and it'll leave it up to Mark Teixeira. Teixeira had a slow series in Houston, just 1 for 16, but he is tied for the league lead in runs batted in starting today with 53. Ball is hammered foul into the seats. A tough souvenir. Strike 1. Teixeira's 1 hit in Houston was a big one. They broke a 6-6 tie. Yankees were on their way to a 9-6 win. There are the numbers overall, up among the league leaders in home runs as well. Ball gets away, and on the way to third is Gardner, and he's safe. Now David Freese I'll be asking the Angels to take a look at this. We'll take a look first.
Well, initially, I thought Brett Gardner got his left hand in there.
The oven mitt hand.
Ball in the dirt. It's a secondary lead. Head down, head first slide.
And they are going to take a look at this one. It's close. We take a look at it on Yesmo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. That leads me to believe that they got him as we slowed it down. Yesmo never lies.
You know what, though, Kenny? I've gotten to the point with these replays when I think it's conclusive, it's not.
Yeah. Can they turn it over? Can they overturn it? We'll see. That was Jim Reynolds with the initial call at third.
Well, the crowd here in Anaheim getting a look on the big scoreboard of the replay. They're reacting.
And he is out at third base. So the call is overturned on instant replay. Here's Gardner slide to third. Watch the left hand. Freeze will tag it. That's it for the Yankees. The Angels are coming to the plate. Tonight, Johnny Gianfatella. Johnny Drama will lead it off for the Angels. He's at second base. Cole Calhoun is in right. The reigning MVP, Mike Trout in center field, followed by the designated hitter tonight, Albert Pujols. David Freese is at third. Eric Ibar is at shortstop. C.J. Cron's at first. Carlos Perez is doing the catching. And batting ninth, the left fielder, Daniel Robertson.
Well, manager Mike Scioscia sends that lineup out against the veteran C.C. Sabathia. Just completed his warm-up tosses. We'll look at his numbers on the year. 3-7. The ERA inflated at 5.65. We'll look at our pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. And no decision his last time out against the Phillies. Giving up 17 bombs, most on the staff. And the active leader in strikeout and complete games. 25-15 in strikeouts and 38 complete games.
Here's the second baseman, Gianfatella. And CC's first pitch is low and inside for ball one. Angels have kind of shaken up their lineup lately. Gianfatella has been leading off the last few games. We're used to seeing Eric Ibar, the shortstop, in that position. Gianfatella having a pretty good year. 266 average. Swings, lines one into center field, and he's on with a base hit. So both leadoff hitters ignite the offense. Gianfatella with a single and Gardner with a double. Let's check out the Yankees on defense behind CC Sabathia. In the outfield, it's going to be Young in left, Gardner in center, Beltran in right. Headley at third, Gregorius at short, Perella at second, Teixeira at first, and John Ryan Murphy doing the catching for CC Sabathia. The right fielder, Cole Calhoun. Kind of an all-around player as far as the batting order is concerned for the Angels. We've seen him down in the order. We've seen him up at the very top tonight, batting second. He's hitting 6 of his last 7 games, average up to 262, and the first pitch is high and inside for ball one.
Kenny, you got to believe manager Mike Scioscia trying to find that lineup that are going to get things going here, because they've struggled offensively. 296 runs, that's 11th in the league. They don't run anymore, only 23 stolen bases. That's 13th. That's very unusual about this ball club. You know about Trout and you know about Pujols.
Call strike, 1-1.
The rest of the lineup, a lot of question marks, and it's just not your typical Angel team, or more specifically, a Mike Scioscia team that we're used to seeing.
Well, Giovitella, it's the 6th different Angel to lead off this year, so they've been trying to find somebody, get something going in a leadoff spot. Ball and a strike on Calhoun. We're in the bottom of the first, no score here in Anaheim. Next pitch is fouled off to the left. This is going to make it to the seats. Headley's going to have a futile run down the left field line.
When I think about a Mike Scioscia team for what you say 16 years here, he loves speed, loves putting pressure on you defensively, taking the extra base and grinding out at bats. And this is just a different club. Only 23 stolen bases.
23 stolen bases and 20 caught stealing. So that's not a good percentage at all. Giovitella at first, he's 1 out of 2. And that pitch is low. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Calhoun.
John Ryan Murphy and Sabathia went through that pitcher-catcher meeting. You know that Mike Trout got plenty of attention, Albert Pujols, and it's so important to keep the guys off base in front of them. So if you choose to pitch around them, you can. Obviously, Sabathia with a leadoff base runner early.
2-2 pitch, and that is upstairs. And the count is run full at 3-2. Flash mentioned the Angels do not run very often. We'll see if Giovitella's on the move on this 3-2 pitch. Mike Trout is on deck. You talk about the heart of a lineup. The numbers would say that Trout and Pujols a very big heart of this line. Runner doesn't go. The pitch is swung on it. Missed, strike 3. Sabathia picks up his first strikeout of the night.
An important pitch with Mike Trout on deck. He's going to trot his way up to the plate. Right with the fastball, middle of the plate, up and in, right by him. Big out.
Well, CC's got 1 down and 1 on, and they give you the numbers of how important Mike Trout and Albert Pujols are to this Angel offense. Trout has scored 55 runs and Pujols has scored 47. They have scored almost 35% of the Angels' runs this year. First pitch to Trout is high and away for a ball, and they have hit 55% of their home runs. So these are the 2 guys you don't want to mess with. It's Flash said, if you can pitch around them in certain situations, you'd like to do so. And breaking ball drops in there for a call strike, and it's 1-1 on Mike Trout. Trout having another great year. .389 on base percentage. Is it .381 with runners in scoring position? Nine inside, ball 2. 2-1.
Well, you look at this lineup. David Freese hitting behind Pujols, has 10 home runs and 34 RBIs. And you think about everything that happened here with Josh Hamilton, who's now in Texas, and how he would have looked in the middle of this lineup if he was healthy.
Chop foul off the bat of Trout, and the count is now 2-2. Let's take a look at Mike Trout from Millville, New Jersey. 2009 first round draft pick, 25th overall by the Angels. Yankees had the 26th pick, by the way. 2012 Rookie of the Year, had a great year. 2014 American League MVP. And 2012 and 2013 he was a runner-up both times to Miguel Cabrera and a 3-time All-Star. You can't get off to a much better start in your career. Pitch is on the way, and that is called strike 3. Trout is caught looking. He didn't think that was a strike. And he's talking it over with Manny Gonzalez. 2 strikeouts now for Sabathia.
Another strikeout with the fastball for CC.
Ooh.
Didn't like it. We'll get a look from the side. Looked like it was down.
Ooh. How about John Ryan Murphy, though? Pulling that ball back up. If I'm Trout, I got a little something to say, too. Here's Albert Pujols. From the frying pan to the fire with Pujols coming to the plate. Line drive down the right field line. This is going to be a fair ball and into the corner. Beltran comes up with it. And here comes Gianfratello rounding third, and he will score. The Angels take a 1-0 lead. Pujols with a run-scoring double puts the Angels out in front.
Well, when you think about Albert Pujols back in his St. Louis Cardinal days, spraying the ball around the field with power, and obviously the 23 home runs this year, but an RBI situation, he gets a pitch up out over the plate, and just stays right inside of it with his hands and rifles it the other way. Great shot there, able to keep it fair. Beltran a little bit of trouble in the corner, and the Angels on the board. Gianfratello with a great jump, obviously with 2 outs. Comes around second, going to pick up your third base coach, Gary DiSarcina.
David Freese takes a pitch outside for ball 1. That extra base hit by Albert Pujols, and now he was tied with Tris Speaker for 13th all time with 1,131 extra base hits. Not too shabby, huh, Flash?
Had a great career in St. Louis. Came out here, things started off a little bit slow with some of the injuries, but he's back on track.
A ball and a strike on Freese. Off the glove of Murphy. Pujols on his way to third. He'll get there standing up. Let's see how they score that one.
You would have to believe a pass ball, right, Kenny? I would think. I mean, it looked like a changeup and it's up and away, but man, that ball's got to be caught right there from John Ryan Murphy. Just clanks it.
Does it come from closing the glove too soon, Flash? Or?
I just think sometimes you take your eye off it a little bit when it's up and away like that.
Well, the Angels have a runner on third now, and the count is 2 balls and a strike on Freese. Angels are up 1-0 here in the first inning. We're just underway here in Anaheim. Just a little bit high, and it's 3 balls and a strike. Now, like C.J. Wilson, CC Sabathia coming off a rough start. In 4 2/3 innings, he was roughed up by the Philadelphia Phillies. Swing and a miss. Looked like Freese helped him out, chased one out of the zone. The count is now full at 3-2.
Again, he goes with that fastball away. That's off the plate, and you're right, Kenny helped him out.
The payoff pitch, and that is low and inside, ball 4. The inning continues for the Angels. Now they have runners in first and third. Base on balls, number 1. That's interesting. In the game in New York, CC had a rough first inning against the Angels. Gave up 2 runs, but then he settled down after that and picked up the win. As I mentioned, that was his last victory, June the 7th. Here's Eric Ibar, switch hitting shortstop for the Angels, batting 6th in the lineup. And he'll take one inside for a ball. Ibar's missed the last couple days. He's had a tight hamstring. He pinch hit in yesterday's game, went 1 for 1, so he's back in there tonight. You get a hit, your leg feels a lot better. Runners on the corners with 2 down. Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, not the start that Sabathia wanted to get off to. 22 pitches already. When you think back to that Houston series, Andy Pettitte was there for a few days, had a couple of conversations with Sabathia about how to try to navigate his season and get back on track. Rough start.
Pitch is popped up into center field. Brett Gardner drifting back, puts it away, and that's it. But the Angels pick up a run on a couple of hits. They leave 2 runners. At the end of 1, the Angels lead it 1-0. how our conversation starts. What do you think the Angels need to do in order to catch Houston in the American League West? And Nolan Rabine 2 says Weaver and Shoemaker have to step up. They can't succeed without consistency from two of their best starters. Well, they're going to have to wait on Weaver. He's on the disabled list with a bad hip. Fans, follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yes Yankees Camry Hybrid to keep the conversation going. So there's Jeff Weaver. I should say Jared Weaver. I saw Jeff in a Yankee uniform years ago. Was he your teammate, Flag?
He was my teammate, yep.
Here's Mark Teixeira. He was at the plate when Gardner was thrown out at third base to end the top of the first.
Okay, just getting back to that question, I mean, the ERA for the Angels 3.74 coming in, 6th in the league. We talked about their offensive struggles. They got to find a way to score a few more runs. That Houston club, Kenny, saw them for 4 teams. They're legit. And a lot to be excited about there.
Swing and a miss on a changeup, 2-1. Does it concern you that they strike out so much?
It does, but you know, AJ Hinch, the manager, was saying, you know what, this is who we are, and they're 4 games up, and they were leading Kansas City Royals early tonight. But they're very confident. They almost have a chip on their shoulder now, and they have so much athleticism at the top and the middle of the lineup, and a couple of quality starters.
Low and inside, 3-2 on Teixeira. Or did he get hit? Yes, he did. So Teixeira headed to first base as the Yankees get the leadoff man on here in the second inning.
Take a look at it from the side.
It's the 5th time this year Teixeira has been hit by a pitch. What do you think?
Tough to see. I didn't see a whole lot right there. And home plate umpire Manny Gonzalez all over it early on. We'll see if Mike Scioscia wants a challenge. It doesn't look like he does.
1 on, nobody out. No harm, no foul. Here's Carlos Beltran. Beltran just 1 home run behind Teixeira on the all-time switch hitters list. And he takes one knee high on the outside corner from C.J. Wilson for a call strike. Beltran with 380 career home runs. He's had quite a career. Good swing, fouls it back. And he's in the hole, no balls and 2 strikes. Yankees down 1-0 in the second inning. Ken Singleton along with John Flaherty and Meredith Marakovitz will be here for all 3 games of the Angels series. Should be an entertaining series at that. Next pitch, that's way upstairs, a ball and 2 strikes. You can imagine pitchers when they have a rough start and get knocked out early, like Wilson did. He's got 5 days to think about it, trying to bounce back. Same thing for CC. Off speed pitch, down low, 2-2. Defense just about straight away in the outfield for Beltran. That is called strike 3. He's caught looking. And he too has some words from Manny Gonzalez. Manny so far has not been the favorite of these hitters.
Well, we saw a low strike on Trout. Fastball in, looked like a pretty good pitch to me. Perez behind the plate, really doesn't have to move his glove.
Here's Chase Headley. And that is low for ball 1. 2 for 16 in Houston. A little further out, 13 for his last 41. That works out to 317. Flashed that home run he hit in Houston, batting right-handed. That was a monster.
No doubt about that one.
That's in there for a strike. It was measured at 451. forgot to ask him about it today. I'll ask him about it tomorrow. Low and inside on the breaking ball. 2 balls and a strike. Well, here it is. This is one of those ones when you hit the ball and you just look for the bat boy. Here, hand in the bat. You got all the time in the world to get around the bases. That was up near the railroad tracks.
That was like over the railroad tracks.
Really? This ball's hit well to right field. Calhoun back near the warning track, still drifting back, makes the catch for out number 2.
That was my first time at Minute Maid Park in Houston. I liked it. Yeah. I mean, it's a bandbox. The ball flies there. It's easy to hit home runs.
Well, you can see why the Astros lead the league in homers.
And a nice crowd for 4 days, too. They're excited about their young team.
They should be. I mean, they've fallen on hard times the last few years. Here's Jose Pirela. I mentioned Wilson gave up 3 home runs in New York in that start on June the 7th. Pirela had one of them. His one and only major league home run. Hit it into the Yankee bullpen. And the first pitch misses for ball 1. Since his recall from Scranton Wilkes-Barre, this particular time, Pirela's gone 2 for 12. Teixeira's at first with 2 down. And that pitch is outside, ball 2. Oh, just another beautiful night here in Southern California, as it usually is. They haven't had a rainout since 1995. Swing and a miss, and it's 2 balls and a strike. That tarp down the left field line hasn't moved since 1995. Many a player has come and gone, but that tarp is still there. And that pitch is in for a strike. Now, they would like some rain here in Southern California because there's a drought going on in this area. 4-year drought. But it hasn't been the case. 2-2 pitch just inside 3-2. Teixeira will be off and running on a 3-2 pitch with 2 outs. In fact, I think they have drawn the line on watering lawns. So a lot of the lawns in this area are starting to turn brown. Ball is popped foul behind home plate, out of play. Well, you would think with the water shortage, but I got to think that the rock pile out there in the just off the left center field, that's recycled water. It's got to be. It is a beautiful structure. One of the highlights here at the Angel Stadium, which is one of the best looking stadiums in the league. It's gone through many transformations over the years. I think they got it right. 3-2 pitch. Call, strike 3. Pirela caught looking. Couple of strikeouts this inning for C.J. Wilson. The Yankees leave a man on to the bottom of the second with the Angels up 1-0. Semifinals begin as Alex Morgan and the Team USA take on Germany with a trip to the final on the line. Coverage begins tomorrow at 6 p.m. only on your local Fox station and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Germany #1 in the world, and the U.S. #2. Should be quite a matchup. The matchup, leading off the bottom of the second inning, is C.J. Cron. He's back in the Angels lineup. Called back from Salt Lake City, and he will face CC Sabathia. And CC's first pitch drops in there for a called strike. Manny Gonzalez, hitters, after every called strike, they turn around and somebody's got to go pretty soon here. That's outside, 1-1.
It reminds me, we had a game yesterday in Houston. Ben May was the home plate umpire. We did not mention his name until the 8th inning. That shows you what kind of a game he had. Nobody was turning around, questioning any of the calls. You're an umpire. You don't want everybody to know your name.
Grounded foul in front of Gary DiSarcina. Ball and 2 strikes.
Well, CC getting ahead here. Cron fell behind 5 of the 6 hitters. First pitch balls in the first inning. Trying to get ahead in the count here in the second.
Cron is a 300 hitter at AAA. And he takes in there for call strike 3. Well, 1 down here in the second.
A lot of hitters shaking their head early. Again, just like Wilson has done to the Yankees, Sabathia dotting that inside corner. Murphy setting up in off the plate, hits the glove.
That's a strike.
Yeah.
Each pitcher with 3 strikeouts, and 2 of the 3 have been called third strikes. Here's Carlos Perez, the Angels catcher. Sabathia delivers, and that one's high for ball 1. Perez came over to the Angels in a deal with the Houston Astros, which saw Hank Conger, the former Angel catcher, head to the Astros. Pitches hit in the air, foul down the right field side. This is going to make the seats.
Perez starting to get a lot more playing time. Veteran Chris Iannetta, the other catcher on this Angel club. Perez swinging the bat a little bit better. They like the way he catches and receives.
Good throwing arm, too.
Yep.
1-1 pitch. And he pops it foul, and this, too, will make the seats. 2 balls, a ball and 2 strikes. Perez had a great start to his career. In his first major league game, hit a walk-off home run. Family was in attendance for your first game. Some people might say, that's it, I quit. I can't get much better than this. The 1-2 pitch. Line towards center field. On the move, it's Brett Gardner. Can he get there? He does, and makes a nice running catch for out number 2. Gardner with a speed closes the gap in right center field, and that's Chris Perez headed back to the dugout with his feelings somewhat hurt.
Well, we've talked about Brett Gardner and how hot he is offensively. Got a great jump, covering some ground to right center field. You see the jump, just runs it down.
I don't know about you, Flash, but if I could run like that, I'd been a whole different player. Here's Daniel Robertson, the left fielder. CC's pitch poured in there for strike 1. Robertson, a longtime minor leaguer, 731 games in the minors. Was a 300 hitter at the minor league level. The Angels got him from the Texas Rangers for what they like to call cash considerations. Ground ball foul. Sabathia trying to have a 1-2-3 inning here in the second. Little bouncer toward short. Gregorius charges, strong arms at the first in time for the out. A 1-2-3 inning for CC Sabathia and the Yankees. It's on to the third. The Angels lead 1-0.
Sun, full of action, full of possibilities, full of life. We talked about the offensive struggles, 296 runs, 11th in the league, and the 3.74 team ERA, actually 6th in the league, so holding their own. And if you take care of Trout and Pujols in the middle of that lineup, you will take your chances against this Angel club. Top of the third, John Ryan Murphy leading off. The Yankees trailing 1-0. Murphy takes a first pitch fastball for a strike on our Audi A3 scoreboard.
Flash, I think the way this first two innings have gone, if you're up there, you could swing the bat anything close.
Murphy to Ibar. Easy out to start the third for Wilson.
You don't want to give Manny Gonzalez a chance to shoot that right hand out there.
So C.J. Wilson looking to rebound after a rough outing his last time. As Kenny mentioned, only 3 1/3 against the Houston Astros. Beat him up a little bit, a couple of home runs, and 7 earned runs in that ball game. One down, bring up Didi Gregorius.
I mentioned that the Yankees beat Wilson. They also beat Jared Weaver and Garrett Richards in that series in New York. Those are the three Angels, their best pitchers. Although Hector Santiago is having a heck of a year. He pitched yesterday.
Having a great year. Starting to talk about, at this time of the year, all-star possibilities with the fan vote, and managers will get to pick some players.
Let's check out Santiago's numbers here. He is 4-4, 2.58. The league's hitting just 214 against him, so he's having a pretty good year.
Be a 3-0 to Gregorius. Pours a fastball in there for strike one. Start looking at Didi's numbers up at batting average, starting to increase a little bit. He takes a fastball down for ball 4. These are the voting that came out today for the All-Star balloting. You're not seeing as many Kansas City Royals on that screen as you have seen early on.
Well, Josh Donaldson having a great year for the Toronto Blue Jays. And Nelson Cruz got off to a great start. He's had some back problems, but his numbers are very good for the Seattle Mariners as the DH. And of course, it wouldn't be an all-star team without Miguel Cabrera. And I saw you circle Omar Infante.
I remember a childhood show that I used to watch, and it would say, which one of these doesn't belong?
You talking Sesame Street?
Infante's had a great career, nice career, but he doesn't belong on that screen with all those other guys. And we just saw a second baseman, Kenny, in Houston. A pretty good player.
Yes. Jose Altuve?
Jose Altuve.
He led the league in hitting last year. Led the league in hits last year. Led the league in stolen bases last year. And having a good year this year.
And they're starting to. Brett Gardner again slaps one the other way. I mean, you can just not get him out at this point. Double his first at bat, a base hit to left and second. The Yankees trying to get something going here in the top of the third.
You know, I can see Brett Gardner on the All-Star team.
You got to start talking about it now.
You're darn right you do. American League Player of the Week, if you missed the early news. Looks like with a 2 for 2 this week, he's got a good start on this week as well.
Chris Young, a fly out his first at bat. 10 home runs, 25 RBIs. And just wearing out left-handed pitching this year. Hits this ball hard to center field. Trout retreats, leaps, and makes the play. Gregorius back to second. Brett Gardner hustling back to first. And Mike Trout makes another outstanding defensive play in center field.
Well, for any outfielder, the line drive directly at you is the toughest play to make. And this one was starched by Chris Young, almost directly at Mike Trout. So there's no angle of pursuit here. He just has to retreat. Going straight back. And with his great speed, the leap at the end hauls it in. Brett Gardner had rounded second base. And he had to hustle to get back to first. Another Gold Glove type play. And it shows you the ability, the all-around ability of Mike Trout. What a play in center field. That might have saved 2 runs.
With where Brett Gardner was, you would have to assume so, right? All the way around second base already. 2 down will bring up Alex Rodriguez. First pitch swinging, hammers one foul.
Yankees are hitting the ball harder this time through the order. A-Rod smokes one foul.
Alex struck out his first at bat.
There's Gregorius. He's headed back to second. Gardner retags. Remember, youngsters, if you round one base and have to go back to the base where you were, you have to touch that base on the way back. There's some major leaguers don't remember that.
The 0-1 to Alex Rodriguez. A slider misses down and in. Check to first base umpire Paul Schreiber said no.
Not much you can do if you're Chris Young. You just hit it hard and hope for the best. Let's keep it away from Mike Trout next time.
Alex Rodriguez 2 for 11 during that Houston series. And Kenny, I would say during that series we saw some of the weakest swings we've seen from Alex Rodriguez all year. He has looked fantastic from day one. And Dallas Keuchel, well, he made everybody look bad the first game of that series.
He might be starting the All-Star game. Look out upstairs.
And the only reason I bring it up is because Alex has looked so good all year long and under control and has not taken bad swings. It was the first time I can remember he looked uncomfortable, but he's in the driver's seat right here, 3-1.
In his career, he has had very little success against Wilson, just 3 for 25.
It's one the other way. It's going to be a base hit. Calhoun charging Gregorius around third. He's going to score. Gardner to third. And Alex Rodriguez comes through with a big 2-out hit to tie this game up at 1.
Well, he mentioned just 3 for 25 after striking out in the first inning against Wilson. Maybe that's the way to get back on track. They through the middle, opposite field, got a pitch he could just flip through that hole. You see Gregorius coming in to score to tie the ball game. There's a pitch in the middle of the plate. I remember Tony Gwynn, the late Tony Gwynn, saying a pitch in the middle, you could do anything you want with it. You could pull it, hit it back through the middle, or hit it the opposite way. That was a Tony Gwynn type hit to the opposite field, and the score is Gregorius, and the game is tied. Just down the road there in San Diego.
2 down. It brings up Mark Teixeira, was hit by a pitch. His first at bat, 18 home runs, 53 RBIs. Looking to add on here in the third, takes a fastball for ball 1.
Now, you were a teammate of Tony Gwynn's.
Every time you say Tony Gwynn's name, I think of a very simple hitting philosophy. Get your front foot down and get it down early. Every day. And whenever you would try to talk to Tony about hitting, it always came back to the same thing. And it just means get ready a little bit earlier, get the front foot down.
He used a very small bat. I think it was 33 inches 30 ounces, but it was like a magic wand.
Wear out that hole between short and third. A lot better of a defensive player, Kenny, than I knew until you get to play with him every day.
Look at almost hit picks.
Wilson takes a little stroll behind the mound. A 3-0 count to Mark Teixeira. I would assume he will have the green light here. He gets something to his liking.
You hear that chant that you hear in the Bronx. Let's go Yankees. Bronx about 3,000 miles away.
Fastball right down Broadway.
About 3,000 miles away.
Yep. Tough numbers against C.J. Wilson. 2 for 25, 1 home run. Just like Alex Rodriguez, he's in the driver's seat here. Takes a slider for ball 4. Wilson, who looked good the first couple of innings, struggling a little bit in the third.
Yeah, I was thinking it's about time for Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, to come out. This is more to give Wilson a breather with the bases loaded and 2 down. It's almost like a standing 8 count in baseball.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. 53 pitches already for C.J. Wilson. 2 outs in the third inning. Carlos Beltran caught looking his first at bat. Gardner at third, Alex Rodriguez at second, Mark Teixeira at first. First pitch breaking ball for strike 1.
Just about all these Yankee veterans have good career numbers with the bases loaded.
The Angels defensively not going with the drastic shifts that we've seen. Swing and a miss.
Beltran helped him out on that pitch.
Boy, the Houston Astros, Kenny, they shift more than any other club I've seen. Every pitch, every batter. 3 infielders on one side of the field. So Wilson trying to work his way out of some trouble. Bases loaded, 2 outs. An 0-2 count to Carlos Beltran. Alex Rodriguez a base hit the other way to tie this game up. The Yankees looking for a little more. Fastball inside, and Wilson does not get the call.
That's the pitch that most hitters have looked back at Manny Gonzalez, and here is Mike Scioscia. It's been a strike most of the night, but not this time.
This game started out with some of the hitters barking at Gonzalez behind the plate. Now the manager's getting involved.
Yeah, that was inside. You saw Perez bring the glove back over towards the corner.
1-2. Another fastball. This time it's called strike 3 on the inside corner. Carlos Beltran has been caught looking a couple of times, but Alex Rodriguez, a base hit the other way. We're all tied up. 23rd when the Yankees take on the Rays. And make sure you're there early to see a special pregame medley performance by the Mormon Tabernacle Choir at 6:30. To save up to 50% off select seats, visit yankees.com/MTC and use the offer code Yankee Doodle. Remember, be there by 6:30 p.m. so you don't miss the special performance by the world-renowned choir. A Yankee fan enjoying a little treat before the game or during the game here in Anaheim, California. CC Sabathia back to work for the bottom of the third. It'll be the top of the lineup, Johnny Giavitello on our Audi A3 scoreboard. First pitch swinging right back up the middle. Gets Sabathia. He flips it over to first base. And Mark Teixeira got back to the bag. At least that's what Paul Schreiber, the first base umpire, said.
Joe Girardi was coming out of the dugout along with Stevie Donahue, the Yankees head athletic trainer, to check on CC, but CC waved it back to the dugout.
Giavitello going back to the dugout. Thought there might be a challenge on this one.
Let's see if Teixeira does get the foot back on the bag. It looked like he did before Giavitello arrived. So he saved CC Sabathia an error. Boy, fancy footwork by Mark Teixeira.
You see that all the time. Pitchers who throw the ball over to first base after fielding it. One pitch, one down.
I'll tell you what, if that was size 11 instead of size 12, he would have been safe.
Cole Calhoun struck out his first at bat. Just an unnatural motion for pitchers when they don't go through their windup, right? And they feel their position trying to throw the ball over to first. You always seem to be holding your breath.
You know, they always talk about the athleticism of shortstops and second base. Second baseman around the bag at second, and they move around quite nicely. But you can't leave first baseman out around the bag at first. I mean, any first baseman, second baseman, shortstop, they would be a candidate for Dancing with the Stars, if you ask me. Catchers, maybe not so much.
No. Be a 1-1 to Calhoun.
Let's take a look at the line drive off the bat of Giavitello. I'm not sure where it hit. Look at the back of the leg, and then he's going to wave everybody off. As Teixeira makes a good play at first. I'm okay.
Tell you what, it sounded like it got him good.
You know, ball hit CC. You should check the baseball.
Well, Sabathia had to work in the first inning, gave up a run. Double by Albert Pujols. 1-2-3 second inning. Trying to find a rhythm during this ball game here in the third. Yankees shifting for Calhoun. Didi Gregorius playing on the second base side. Chase Headley playing straight up shortstop. Be a 2-2 to Calhoun. High fastball right by him.
Reaching back. Fourth strikeout of the night. Was it out of the strike zone? Maybe a little high. Calhoun saw a fastball. Went for it. Couldn't get up on top of it. Second time he struck out, both swinging.
2 down will bring up Mike Trout, who struck out his first at bat. First pitch slider for strike one. Trout had 18 home runs his first 61 games. Only 1 home run in his last 15. Having another great year. We saw that great defensive play against Chris Young. A 1-1 from Sabathia. This one hit well to left center field. Brett Gardner going after it. He's not going to have a chance. Could be a home run for Mike Trout. His 20th of the year. And the Angels take a 2-1 lead.
You know, Flash, when he hit this, I didn't think he got all of it. It didn't quite have that sound, but he is a strong young man. Very powerful. And with this home run, number 20 on the season, he becomes the 6th American League player with 20-plus, I should say, 4 20-plus home run seasons before the age of 24. And I'll tell you the other guys in just a second here. You've got Ted Williams, Mickey Mantle, Tony Conigliaro, Ken Griffey Jr., and Alex Rodriguez. All with 20 or more home runs in their first 4 years before the age of 24.
Pujols to third. Headley comes up with it. Sabathia gives up a solo shot to Mike Trout. The Angels lead 2-1. Major League Baseball All-Star Game starting lineups. You can fill out your 2015 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot now at Yankees.com. Voting is exclusively online and available on your computer, tablet, and smartphone. Vote up to 35 times for your favorite Yankees at Yankees.com. Top of the fourth, Chase Headley leading off, followed by Jose Perella and John Ryan Murphy. Wilson throws a first pitch slider for strike one. On your Lincoln scoreboard, Yankees trailing 2-1, 3 hits apiece. Wilson working quickly, misses with a fastball.
That home run that Trout hit, what is the 18th home run that Sabathia's given up this year?
Headley goes the other way, but foul. It just seems, Kenny, when he makes his mistakes, he can't keep him in the yard.
Especially to the hitters who are supposed to hit home runs.
When you think back to the replays that we saw from Trout in that home run, great weight transfer. Headley lays off a slider. As his hands come through the zone, as all the weight from his backside transfers to his front side. And maybe that's why this ball you didn't think was going to get out of here, Kenny, but great weight transfer through.
Plus, he's such a good low ball hitter. Just below the belt, thigh high, that's his happy zone. He can just lift up on it enough, and just a great all-around player. We've seen examples of a great play in center field, and now a home run to give the Angels the lead.
I was mentioning he'd gone through a little drought with the long ball. The batting average still just below 300. Maybe getting back on track going deep. We're going to take a look at our updated Honda League leaders with home runs. Pujols with 23. Mike Trout now with 20. These are in the American League. You mentioned Cruz really got off to a great start, but has slowed down a little bit.
How about J.D. Martinez?
A nice year. Headley works underneath one. Trout can't see it in center field. Giavotella going back. He makes the play, and a tough time of the evening, Kenny, where outfielders have trouble tracking a fly ball.
The Yankees might have gotten a break if that ball had been hit a little further towards center field, because Trout didn't see it off the bat. And we've seen that happen here in California from time to time during twilight. The lights haven't taken full effect. The sky is not quite dark enough, and the ball blends in. See Trout, in the general vicinity. Now he sees it as Giavotella puts it away for the out. But that is a helpless feeling. There's two things that really bother outfielders. That happens, and also when the ball's hitting the lights and you're trying to make a catch on those line drives in the gap.
.65 pitches for Wilson already, so the pitch count is inflated.
Did I mention the sun? That bothers outfielders too.
Pirela struck out his first at bat.
The strangest play I ever saw, sun play I ever saw. We were playing a cloudy day at Wrigley Field. The sun came out for like 2 minutes. Ball's hit in the air to center field. The Cubs had him run on second. Tommy Agee lost it in the sun. Runner scored. Sun
went back in
behind the clouds. Cubs won 1-0.
Life is all about timing. It's a big swing and a miss from Pirela. Stephen Drew gets the evening off with the lefty. Brian McCann the same. It'll be a 2-2 to Pirela. Little change up. Freeze the tough hop, spins, throws, gets it.
Nice play by David Freese. That ball, he played it off his left hip. You see, this is going to turn into a what do they call this flash? A hip hop. Right here, 360 on the money. Nice play. Cuts in front of Eric Ibar.
Two down, it'll be John Ryan Murphy.
Looking at Freeze's defensive numbers, he's only made 4 errors this year.
Murphy going the other way, drops it. Oh, Calhoun, a great diving play to rob John Ryan Murphy. Thought that was going to find some grass in front of the Angels right fielder. Full extension. An outstanding defensive play. Calhoun, right fielder, getting it done. The Angels lead 2-1.
Time for tonight's injury report, brought to you by Montefiore Medical Center. Montefiore inspired medicine. Big step for Jacoby Ellsbury earlier today. He's been on the DL since May 20th, but he was in action. He started a rehab assignment with the Tampa Yankees. He served as their DH, went 0 for 3, struck out swinging in his first at-bat, grounded out to short in his second at-bat. The third at-bat, he actually scorched one down the first base line. However, a diving catch robbed Ellsbury of a hit. But a good sign, guys, that he is back on the field. Joe Girardi saying that he's not exactly sure how long and how many at-bats Ellsbury would need, but he did indicate that he didn't think it would be that many. So the plan is for him to play the next 2 days with the Tampa Yankees, and then they'll make some decisions come Thursday on that off day.
Well, that indeed is good news, Flash. Ellsbury is going to make his way back pretty soon to the Yankees.
Designated hitter, is that what you said, Meredith? So he'll probably be in the field tomorrow, I would assume?
Correct.
Our Lincoln scoreboard, the Angels lead 2-1.
So one of the two table setters might be a table for two again with Gardner and Ellsbury.
Well, Kenny, Joe Girardi was asked that, what's he going to do when Ellsbury gets back? And he said he really didn't put too much thought into it yet, but did mention that he really liked Ellsbury in that leadoff spot and did a great job earlier in the season, and Brett Gardner in that 2-hole as well.
Freeze grounds out. I would assume it's not a tough decision, is it? You lead off, Gardner goes to second again.
Well, it worked the first time around.
It certainly did.
You know, Flash, in our open tonight, we showed a nice shot of a beach here in the Southern California. That was Huntington Beach.
It looked beautiful.
It did, and we have a beach connoisseur on the staff. Meredith, you've been to that beach, haven't you?
I have. It's great. Beautiful beach. Very nice. Maybe I'll get there tomorrow morning before work.
I was reading about Huntington Beach on the way out here on the plane. That was voted the #1 beach in America. Would you say it was #1?
I don't know that it's #1. I'm partial to some others, but you know, my beach travels take me outside the United States too.
We know that as well. Now, you know what the #2 beach was? Clearwater Beach.
Well, I think that's one that we've all been to.
Yeah, we have.
I barred a Gregorius, 2 down. Now, I would have issues with Clearwater Beach, and I know there are some people who love that beach.
We have to go back there, you know.
But don't we have to, don't you have to talk about Hawaii and some of the beaches there?
Hawaii was one of the beaches. I can't remember one. I think it was Hapuna. It was #5.
Okay. All right. Now I feel better.
7 Mile Beach in New Jersey, #4. How about that for the Northeast getting some love? So Meredith has been all over the world, though, when it comes to beaches.
Crone first pitch swinging. Sabathia going to have an easy 1-2-3 inning. We'll have to get a full report from Meredith Marakovitz on the beach after she goes there tomorrow. But a beautiful sunset here in California. The Angels lead 2-1.
the NL West standings. The Dodgers a game ahead of the Giants, 6 ahead of the Diamondbacks, followed by the Padres and the Rockies. Those are the standings in the National League West. Tonight we are here at Angel Stadium. First game of a 3-game series between the Yankees and the Angels. On our Bigelow T scoreboard, 2-1 at the top of the 5th. Didi Gregorius will lead it off for the Yankees. He scored the Yankees run. He walked with 1 out in the 3rd inning and came around the score on a base hit by Alex Rodriguez. Swing and a miss on the first pitch from C.J. Wilson here in the 5th, and it is strike 1.
You see the numbers for Didi, 233, and a lot was made in spring training about what he would do against left-handed pitching, struggling against lefties.
Struggling to get out of the way of that one, then it's a ball and a strike.
Coming into this game, a 176 batting average against left-handers. His game is starting to come around, Kenny. It looks like he's a lot more confident at the plate, driving the ball a little bit better. Defensively, things have settled down.
Ground ball pulled foul. I think one thing that would really help him out, and you're right, he is swinging the bat better, but to me, he's trying to pull everything. And if he can learn how to hit that outside pitch on a line to left field, much in the same way Brett Gardner has learned, he'd be a much better hitter. That pitch is outside for a ball, and it's 2-2. Gardner is on deck. Strike 3 call. Gregorius caught looking. Well, that has been a theme tonight. Hitters caught looking at the 3rd strike.
Wilson does throw a lot of sliders, and he kind of gets you looking for that pitch, maybe down a little bit. Perez bringing that pitch back up to the strike zone, gets the call.
Tell you what, both pitchers getting that low strike today. I'm looking downstairs if I'm a hitter. Here's Gardner. Wherever he's looked, he's come up. He hasn't come up empty-handed. He's 2 for 2 tonight, with a double and a single. 24 for his last 47. And he takes one low for a ball. Yankees have 3 hits. Brett Gardner has 2 of them.
You know, Kenny, this is one of those positions where the game has changed so much. Billy Epler, the assistant GM, has been on this trip, so I've had plenty of chances to talk to him. And part of the conversation is some of the catchers around the league and their frame percentages, how many strikes they steal. And those are things that we never paid attention to back in the day. Right, you said a guy was a good receiver, but now it's all documented with all these stats. Perez has a good reputation, and Mark Gubiza, who's one of the analysts for the TV, was telling me the same thing. They love the way he catches and steals strikes.
Are you getting the idea he's going to be the catcher of the future?
They like what they see, and little things like getting pitches off the plate are now so much more important. Brian McCann rates very well in that department.
Ball and 2 strikes on Gardner. It's a bouncing ball, and it's off the glove of Cronin and continues on down the right field line. Gardner's rounding first. He's on his way for second as Calhoun comes up with it. We'll see how they score that. It almost looked as though Cronin played that into a hit. And Gardner might be 3 for 3. We'll see how they score it.
Well, we see Cronin at first base, and he's going to go to his left. I got to believe they're going to give that a hit, Kenny.
Yeah, it is. And Gardner now with his 2nd double of the night, number 21 on the season, and he's 3 for 3.
When you're as hot as Brett Gardner is, things like this happen. Instead of a great defensive play, off the glove, easy double, and just another knock.
Reason why I said he might have played it into a hit, because I thought he could have gotten over there and blocked it. Even if you don't come up with it cleanly, you knock it down, you still might have that play at first. Here's Chris Young, was robbed of an extra base hit by Mike Trout last time up. And that is in there for a call strike. With 2 men on, Young hit a line drive to center field. And let's take a look at this last pitch.
It's been a common theme, the low strike. Gonzalez likes the ball down.
Ball is ripped. All right, third base coach Joe Espada, and the count is 0-2. Watch out, everybody.
Kenny, I was talking during that Houston series how simple Chris Young and his approach at the plate is. I mean, he just stands there and, like Tony Gwynn, the great Tony Gwynn, get the front foot down, see the ball, and react. There's not a whole lot of extra moving parts in his swing or his approach. He's been on fire lately.
Right now he's in the hole. No balls and 2 strikes with Gardner at second and 1 out. Yankees are down by a run. Off-speed pitch again, almost picks off the third base coach Espada. Let's take a look back at what Chris Young did in Houston.
Going back to his hometown.
Ooh.
Big home run right there.
I love those reactions by the pitchers.
A little recognition for all the family and friends who were there.
Look out, up and in. Moved them off the plate. A ball and 2 strikes. See a lot of hitters get offended by that sort of thing. I thought it was a sign of respect. Pitcher has to get your attention, move you off the plate like it's going to upset you. Come on.
Now you just look out over the plate, right?
You can't throw something over there that I can hit. Check on Gardner at second.
Well, we saw this earlier with Sabathia. Left-handed pitchers trying to get in on righties. Mechanically, you have to be right on time. If not, you'll leak that ball out over the plate. It's kind of what happened to Mike Trout in his home run.
His pitch is hit in the air to center field again. Trout going back, still going back, and he leaps and makes another great catch. Gardner has to retreat to second. Second time he has taken an extra base hit away from Chris Young, and you can see his reaction.
Well, Chris Young, a little extra look out at Mike Trout after he robbed him his first at bat. Actually his second at bat, now in his third at bat. Another nice play right on the front of the warning track, leaps and makes it. Chris Young has a look and a little wave like, I don't think I'm going to try to hit the ball your direction anymore.
Take a close look at that glove. It's turning to gold. Yeah, all right. So 2 down now is Trout putting on a clinic tonight, both offensively and defensively. Here's Alex Rodriguez. Up and in, moves him off the plate. Ball 1. Alex had a base hit his last time that drove in Didi Gregorius with the Yankees run. That pitch misses. 2 balls and no strikes. With that hit his last time up, he passed Wade Boggs on the all-time hit list. Should say Hall of Famer Wade Boggs. And there's the list coming up on Rafael Palmeiro. Off-speed pitch, swung on and missed, and it's 2-2. No advance by Gardner. Good stop by Perez, and the count has run to 3-1 on Alex Rodriguez.
Well, if you're Perez and you're catching C.J. Wilson, you have to be ready for this all night long. Yanks his slider down and in a ton. Nice play by Perez, blocking it, keeping Gardner at second base.
Flash, what are you thinking right now? If there's a base open, it's 3-1 on Alex Rodriguez. You look over to the on-deck circle, and you got Mark Teixeira.
Well, he's thrown Alex all breaking balls, change-ups and sliders. Wouldn't be surprised Alex sitting off speed.
Swing and a miss, and he did get an off-speed pitch, and the count is run full 3-2.
3-1 slider. Alex swings right over the top, and he's out in front. But if we've been watching this ball game, C.J. Wilson, a lot of his strikeouts freezing the Yankee hitters with his fastball when you're looking off speed.
And it's ball 4, low and inside to Alex Rodriguez. He will trot to first base, and it will bring up Mark Teixeira with a couple of men on. That was the third walk of the night handed out by C.J. Wilson. His pitch count now is up to 91. Now, quite often Mark Teixeira will take the first pitch. But in these situations, I find over the years watching him play, all bets are off. If that first one's in there, he's going to go for it.
We talked about the terrible numbers against Wilson. I think it's going to make him more aggressive.
He takes one, and it's low for ball 1. Teixeira's been hit by a pitch and drawn a walk, so he has not had an official at bat tonight. 2 on, 2 outs. The Yankees down by a run here in the 5th inning. Teixeira hits it hard on the ground directly to Ibar. He goes to Giafatelli for the force on Rodriguez, and that'll do it. Chris Young, he can't get it past Mike Trout. This is the 3rd inning, robbed with 2 men on. Then in the 5th, robbed with another man on. It would have been a whole different ball game. Semifinals begin as Alex Morgan and Team USA take on Germany with a trip to the final on the line. Coverage begins tomorrow at 6 p.m. only on your local Fox station. It's streaming live on Fox Sports Go. What we say, Germany is number 1 and the U.S. number 2. Wow. Whole lot on the line. Big Low T scoreboard, 2-1 Angels. Bottom of the 5th inning, Carlos Perez takes a strike, and it's 1-1. CC with a decent pitch count, just 55 pitches thus far. Perez, Robertson, and Giavotella for the Angels here in the 5th. Ball is hit in the air to center field for Brett Gardner. Just to his left, puts it away, and there's 1 out. Daniel Robertson will come to the plate. Robertson, this is his 12th game with the Angels. Ball is lined towards center field. It's going to be in there for a base hit. Gardner quickly over, cuts it off. And Robertson will have to hold on with a single to center field. So the Angels' number 9 hitters aboard with 1 out. And the lineup will turn over for Johnny Giavotella. Giavotella, I remember him with Kansas City a few years back. Of course, the Yankees are happy that Howie Kendrick is not in an Angel uniform anymore. He's just up the freeway here playing for the Dodgers. Man, he wore out the Yankees, didn't he?
I mean, if he didn't get 3 hits a game, it was unusual against the Yankees.
3 hits and a line out somewhere.
Yeah.
Giavotella hits one in the air to left field. Should be an easy play for Chris Young, who puts it away for out number 2. Lazy fly ball to left. Giavotella goes for the first pitch and will bring up Cole Calhoun, who so far tonight has not made contact against CC Sabathia. Well, he's fouled a few off, but each at bat has ended in a strikeout.
I think CC would like to keep that theme going. Couple of strikeouts. Mike Trout and Pujols coming up behind Calhoun with 2 outs. Priority has to be going right at Calhoun here. We get to face Mike Trout next inning with a clean inning, nobody on. Pitch very carefully.
Calhoun lines one over to Sharon. This is towards the corner. The race is on now. Robertson rounded second, on his way to third. This guy can run, and he is going to score, and it's now a 3-1 ball game. He was flying between second and third. So Calhoun, after a couple of strikeouts, gets a 2-out double. Put the Angels up by 2.
Well, Calhoun knows that Sabathia has to come right at him with Mike Trout on deck. And he doesn't wait around. First pitch swinging, hammers it into right field. And you're right, Kenny. Robertson was picking him up and putting him down, coming around the bases. He scores easily. Plenty of speed. We'll get another look at him. Going on contact, obviously, with 2 outs. And he starts kicking in another gear. Gary DiSarcina, the third base coach, no problem waving him home.
Wow. That was impressive. The Angels are up there swinging the bats. 4 of the last 5 Angels have put the first pitch in play. Angels now with 3 runs on 5 hits. And Trout will get a chance here in the 5th inning. First pitch is low and away for ball 1.
Pick your poison right here if you're CC Sabathia and John Ryan Murphy. Mike Trout, a solo home run. Albert Pujols waiting on deck. First base open, 2 outs.
That way you only get to face one of them. Ball is fouled back and out of play. You know, one thing about Sabathia tonight, each one of the Angels runs is scored with 2 outs. So not quite out of the woods, and he put the Angels away in the 1st, 3rd, and now the 5th inning. Every other inning. A 2-out double by Pujols in the 1st, 2-out home run by Trout in the 3rd, and now a 2-out double by Calhoun here in the 5th. Trout is struck out and homered. Home run number 20 on the season, over the wall in left center field. Two balls and a strike. Another thing that makes Trout so dangerous in these situations, I mentioned the fact he's hitting .381 with runners in scoring position. So he's got Calhoun out there at second. All strike.
We've seen low strikes from Manny Gonzalez, and now we've just seen a breaking ball that came around home plate.
A no strike. There was a strike.
Murphy setting up outside, has to reach out there.
Oh man,
Trout can't believe it.
The 2-2 pitch is hit down the right field line. Let's see if Beltran has a play. A long run, and he gets there, makes the catch in fair territory. So Trout is retired, but the Angels pick up another run here in the 5th. They lead it 3-1. Mike Trout and the Angels are smiling. They lead 3-1. As we go to the top of the 6th inning, Carlos Beltran will lead it off against C.J. Wilson, who now has a 2-run lead to work with. Beltran has struck out twice tonight, both times looking, once in the 2nd, once in the 3rd. And he'll take a pitch for a call strike here from C.J. Wilson. Low and away for a ball. Beltran, Headley, and Perella for the Yankees here in the 6th.
Pitch count now is a factor for Wilson. 95 pitches already. Nobody out here in the 6th. The bullpen starting to get going.
2 balls and a strike.
He only threw 71 pitches his last outing when he struggled, but 115 the outing before.
Jose Alvarez and Fernando Salas. Alvarez, the left-hander.
The bullpen for the Angels 5th in the league with a 3.31 ERA.
3 balls and a strike on Beltran. Trying to get something started for the Yankees here in the 6th inning. C.J. Wilson on the season only has 1 win against a team that is currently above 500. He's 1-5 with a 6.17 ERA and 8 starts against teams with winning records. He's 4-1 in 7 starts at teams that are below. So he's had trouble against the winning teams. Count is now full at 3-2. Now each time he has struck out Beltran on the fastball over the inside corner. Let's see if he goes back to the well. A bouncy ball towards the middle. Ibar on the run, and he can't get it. Ball underneath his glove into center field for a base hit. I don't think he got that one in there. Over the inner half. 5th hit for the Yankees.
Well, the Yankees will take it right here out over the plate. Beltran off balance, slaps it up the middle. You see how far Ibar has to go to his left, just underneath his glove.
Was that a 3-2 changeup?
I don't know if it was a changeup or just kind of a fastball out with maybe a little sinker.
Maybe a 2-seamer. Maybe thinking Beltran looking in after the first 2 times up. There's Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, and this is just to give the bullpen a little bit more time to get heated up here in the 6th. You see Wilson at 99 pitches. Mike Scioscia, the manager, pacing a little bit in the dugout.
Well, if you're Mike Scioscia, you'd love to give your veteran left-hander a little bit of room to work here in the 6th inning. But Kenny, you mentioned the struggles against good clubs. The numbers have not been great, and the bullpen numbers have been good. He's batter to batter at this point.
Here's Headley, who's flying to right, popped to second. Pitch coming up for Wilson will be number 100 on the night. And the ball's hit well to right center field. On the move is Trout. Can he do it again? Still running, and he makes the catch as he passes in front of Cole Calhoun. Beltran back to first. Well, we see he can go to his left as well.
You see Calhoun gives him a little congratulations. Center fielder takes priority. He looks to see where Calhoun is. He's yelling, "I got it." Calhoun goes behind. And another nice defensive play by Mike Trout, covering a lot of ground going to his left.
I think the only safe way to hit it in his direction is to hit it over the fence. Here's Pirela, who hits on the ground. This could be 2. Ibar to Giavotella to Cron. 6-4-3 double play, and that's it for the Yankees here in the 6th. Nobody left. Mike Trout, what a ball player. Bernie Williams postseason heroics on an all-new Yankeeography. Moments of Glory featuring exclusive interviews and insight from number 51 himself. That's next Wednesday at 11, only on Yes. There's Larry David. Larry David on hand tonight. Looks like he's trying to curb his enthusiasm. That was a great show, by the way. Great show.
Oh, with the hat on backward, Larry David is.
Albert Pujols. Looks like it's C.J. Wilson's night's going to be done. Pujols takes a pitch outside for a ball. Pujols tonight is doubled in a run and grounded to third. He is 1 for 2. There is a called strike, and it's 2-1. See those 23 home runs, that leads the American League. Speaking of home run leaders, how about the injury to Giancarlo Stanton? Broken hamate bone in his left wrist. Swing and a miss. 2-2 on Pujols. and he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks.
Starting to gain a little reputation, though, Kenny, as a guy who can't stay on the field. You know, and I mean, obviously getting hit by a pitch last year, that's not his fault, but incredibly talented player.
Pujols takes downstairs, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Numbers on C.J. Wilson: 6 innings, 5 hits, a run, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, 101 pitches in 6 innings. Payoff pitch on the way to Pujols, and he pops it up. That's way up there on the right side. Pirela calling for it, and he makes the catch. I think every Yankee on the field had a time to get over there and make that play. That ball was way up there. Oh, 1 down here in the 6th.
Looked like he chased a high fastball, and you see Pirela, who was shifting. He starts drifting in front of Carlos Beltran, calls him off, and makes the play.
Here's David Freese. Angel first baseman is walking, grounded to second. Working on an 0 for 1. Ground ball to the right side. Pirela has this one. And he throws on the first for out number 2 as Freese picks on the first pitch. And while the pitch count got C.J. Wilson out of the ball game, CC Sabathia, despite the fact that he trails 3-1, his pitch count in pretty good shape. The first inning was his toughest. Two outs, nobody on. Eric Ibar. And he's taking, and that's in there for a call strike. Ibar's been a fixture for years here at shortstop with the Angels. And he chases one in the dirt. That's strike 2. I thought I saw a note that Ibar has played more games under his current manager Mike Scioscia than any player in baseball has played for his manager. That's how long he's been here with the Angels. A ball and 2 strikes. Ibar, former Gold Glover. Fouled straight back to the screen. CC trying to have a 1-2-3 inning, which would be his 3rd of the night. It was those other 3 innings that got him in trouble. The 1st, the 3rd, and the 5th, giving up solo runs in each one of those innings. Ibar lifts a lazy fly ball to right field for Beltran. And indeed, it is a 1-2-3 inning for CC Sabathia. The Angels go in order here to 6th. We're moving to the 7th inning with the Angels up by a couple.
Tomorrow's starting pitchers brought to you by Verizon Fios, the fastest, most reliable internet. For the Yankees, it'll be Ivan Nova, who's coming off a great performance, his first start since coming back from Tommy John, and he was absolutely magnificent in that. They're hoping to get a repeat performance. Meanwhile, it'll be Andrew Heaney for the Angels. The left-hander made his last start against Houston, and he won that one, pitched 6 innings, allowed just 1 earned run, extremely economical. He has never faced the New York Yankees in his career.
Well, thank you very much, Meredith. Top of the 7th, we have a new pitcher, Trevor Gott. Be his 8th game. Does not have an earned run, 4 strikeouts in 7 innings. We're also going to have a pinch hitter in Brian McCann, who will hit for John Ryan Murphy. Murphy 0 for 2, a ground ball to short. And robbed of a base hit by Cole Calhoun in right field. First pitch from Gott misses. Gott picked up his first major league win yesterday afternoon against Seattle because of a walk-off wild pitch. And the Angels took 2 out of 3 from the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, they did it the hard way. They dropped the first one and won the next 2.
Brian McCann over his last 17 games hitting .323. He's 2 for 11 in Houston, but one big swing, the grand slam. And this was the walk-off wild pitch from yesterday here in Anaheim.
It's Tom Wilhelmsen on the mound, and here comes a winning run. It was Cole Calhoun who scored.
So Gott has pitched 7 shutout frames to start his career.
Our producer Bill Boland says that deserves a look at it.
I'll tell you what, Kenny, it looks like he's got a good arm with some movement too.
Well, they got him from San Diego in a deal.
It'll be a 3-2 to Brian McCann. He takes ball 4, leadoff walk here in the 7th.
97 miles an hour with some sink.
C.J. Wilson had to work a little bit, 6 innings, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, only the 1 earned run. Hands it over to his bullpen, which has been one of the strengths of this club for the Angels. Didi Gregorius walked, struck out, 232, 4 home runs, 16 RBIs. Crone playing behind Brian McCann. You see all that movement from Gott. You'd expect he gets a lot of ground balls.
It's interesting that as I watch Gott pitch, first time I've ever seen him pitch, right? It's almost like when you're playing and you see a pitch for the first time, you are locked into all of his movements. Just see how the ball comes out of his hand. You can see this guy's got a good fastball. So that's the number one thing you got to look for when you step up to home plate.
Good swing by Gregorius, fouled straight back. The hitting instructors will give you the whole scouting report on a reliever before you walk up there.
He's a little herky-jerky. So a lot of movement, as Flash said, out on the mound. But somehow, somewhere, you got to locate that arm slot. Be ready for the heat.
The 1-2 to Gregorius goes off speed and it's slapped. Gott to make the play, see if he can execute. He cannot. It'll be an infield base hit for Didi Gregorius. The Yankees have something going here in the 7th.
This was an excellent breaking ball. In fact, it was so good. It was just kind of a slash at it by Gregorius, but the ball bounded off home plate, goes straight up in the air. And you can see all Gott could do is wait for it to come down, and he had no play. So an infield single for Gregorius. And with a youngster on the mound, Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, going to come out. One of the hottest hitters in the league is up in Brett Gardner, who the Angels have not retired tonight.
Brett had a double in the first to lead off the game, a base hit in the third going the other way, and another double in the 5th inning. Batting average now at .308.
And before the game in the clubhouse, Brett was talking with several of the press members from New York about being named the American League Player of the Week. The 3-for-3 gets his average up to .308. But they were talking about how he has become more of an experienced hitter, how he looks for pitchers better.
Lost 11 games, 521. That's updated with tonight's numbers. First pitch swinging. Fouls it off. Third baseman David Freese on the cutoff of the grass. Crone the same at first.
They were expecting the bunt. But this is one of the hottest hitters in the league up there. And every once in a while he'll catch you speeding. It's 17 home runs last year.
Being 0-1 forgotten. The Angels pretty much playing Brett Gardner straight up in the infield. Maybe a little shade the other way with the outfielders. This one hit the other way. Robertson going back. Camps underneath it. 1 out. One downer to be Chris Young. He swung the bat well tonight, has nothing to show for it. Mike Trout has robbed him twice.
We saw Trout hit a home run, but the defensive plays was really turned the ball game, because there were men on base each time he took a hit away from Chris Young.
Chris Young had 3 good at-bats against C.J. Wilson, now facing a righty. With the velocity we've talked about, good movement. Goes off speed, ground ball to Ibar. To second base, over to first, not in time. Didi Gregorius went in with a hard, aggressive slide at second base. We'll see if Giovatello's okay.
Anytime there's a man at second base and the runner at first can get a bigger lead, because the first baseman's not holding him on. So he can get down there and put pressure on second baseman and shortstop. And as long as you're a body's length away from the bag, as we watch this on Yesmo, you can see Gregorius, who I'm sure is taking the same kind of treatment around second base, gets into Giovatello at second, and a double play is not completed. And they'll give A-Rod a chance here.
A-Rod a chance, first and third, 2 outs. Brian McCann at third, Chris Young at first. Alex 1 for 2, a single, walk, and an RBI. Three-1 Angels, 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. First pitch to Alex Rodriguez, misses.
Alex with a base hit in the 3rd inning to drive in a run is now hitting 11 of his last 12 games.
Brian McCann takes his lead off of third. Young off of first. Trevor Gott walked Brian McCann to start the inning. An infield hit to Didi Gregorius. Trying to work his way out of some trouble here in the 7th. Good hitters count for Alex Rodriguez, 2-0. Rolled over to short. Ibar is going to go the long way across the first. So Trevor Gott, 8 shutout innings to start his big league career, and the Angels lead 3-1. To you by your local Nissan dealer. 3-1 Angels. Mike Trout hit his 20th home run. Pujols and Calhoun RBI doubles each, and Alex Rodriguez picked up an RBI single. CC Sabathia has pitched well, pitching now into the bottom of the 7th inning. The Yankees have not been able to do much against C.J. Wilson. And Trevor Gott 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. The Yankees are tonight. Sabathia back out on the mound for the bottom of the 7th. It'll be C.J. Cron, Carlos Perez, and Daniel Robertson, 7, 8, 9 for the Angels. Got a new catcher, Brian McCann, behind the plate, who pinch hit for John Ryan Murphy.
Well, we heard Ryan's update, and of course it's good news for the Yankees as far as their division rivals are concerned. The last place Red Sox are the only ones that win. They beat Toronto. That's who's that, Joe Smith?
Be a 2-0 to Cron. Sabathia falls behind 3-0.
The Yankees are looking for a comeback in this game.
These are the games that the Angels are used to playing. 38 of their 76 have been decided by 2 runs or fewer, and they are 23-15 in those games. I mentioned that they don't do a lot offensively, but doing enough tonight. A 2-run lead here in the bottom of the 7th. Kenny, you have to be honest. If Sabathia is going to go out there and throw the way he is tonight, you got to give him some run support. Has not been terrible as Cron hits this one deep and gone. A solo home run, his 2nd of the year, and no doubt about that one.
Now this is why the Angels made C.J. Cron a #1 pick out of the University of Utah. Plenty of power. As Flash said, that was a no-doubter. It was headed for faraway places. Just called up today from Salt Lake City. And this ball is on its way to Salt Lake City. Way back in left field.
Again, the long ball has been a problem for Sabathia this year. That is now 19 home runs that he has given up.
And it's number 1 in the league.
Carlos Perez 0 for 2 with a couple of flyouts. And again, Sabathia behind in the count 2-0. This one hit to left center. Chris Young on the move to make the play. Nick Rumbelow getting loose in the Yankee pen. Going to bring up the number 9 hitter Daniel Robertson. 1 for 2, base hit his last time, scored a run.
What we've seen over the last few years from CC Sabathia, when he makes a mistake towards the middle of the plate to the wrong hitters, they can take him deep. 19 home runs allowed. And you know, the CC of old might have been able to throw it down the middle, but it had so much on it that hitters were late or just couldn't get to it at all. They'd foul it off. But not anymore.
Hit hard to short. Gregorius up with it. 2 down.
Got to stay out of the middle. So Crone just called back from the minor leagues today. Not much of a reception. What's going on? Welcome back.
Back to the top of the order, Johnny Giavotella.
So the pattern kind of continues for CC. Gives up a run, a 1-2-3 inning, gives up a run, a 1-2-3 inning, gives up a run, a 1-2-3 inning, gives up a run.
So he can go back out for the 8th. Kenny, you know this better than anybody. When you show up at the ballpark every day, it's all about your pitching matchups. And Yankees know that Sabathia hasn't had a fantastic year to this point, and you know offensively you got to go out there and make his job a little bit easier. He's given up 4 runs, but this is a game where they got to help him out a little bit.
There's been a few games like that this year where the Yankees have not scored much for him. And
Sabathia has given up 6 hits tonight. 2 of them have been home runs, solo shots to Mike Trout and C.J. Cron. Albert Pujols an RBI. One hit right to Chase Headley. The Angels add 1. A home run by C.J. Cron, and they now lead 4-1, end of 7. Rising call to the bullpen. It's going to be Joe Smith taking over for the Angels.
Well, Smith has been the prime setup man for Mike Scioscia and these Angels. In the past, he's been a closer. This will be his 35th appearance of the year. You can see the numbers, 2-2. Less than a hit per inning, 30 strikeouts in 32 1/3 innings, and opponents hitting .231 against Joe Smith. Smith will get to Teixeira, Beltran, and Headley. 3 switch hitters right in a row jump over to the other side of the plate against the Angel right-hander. New first baseman Efren Navarro takes over for C.J. Cron, who hit a home run and gets the rest of the night off. Teixeira 0 for 1, hit by a pitch, walked, and also reached on a fielder's choice. On our Hyundai scoreboard, it's 4-1 Angels. Smith deals, and that is a called strike one.
Joe Smith tied for the major league lead with 20 holds this year.
0-2 on Teixeira. Let's see how Smith gets some movement on his fastball with his delivery. Sinking type fastball. Tried the backdoor slider, and it's called strike 3, and
that is a terrible call right there.
Oh my goodness.
Manny Gonzalez, we've been talking about him, the home plate umpire, since the first inning. Joe Girardi can't believe it. This isn't even close. Down off the plate. Mark Teixeira isn't even thinking about it. He can't believe it.
They do great umpires, don't they?
I don't think he had a very good grade tonight.
No.
Both sides have been complaining.
Beltran takes, and that is a strike. Took the bat right out of his hand. Amazingly to me that nobody's been thrown out of this game arguing balls and strikes. 2 balls and a strike on Beltran. Ball is lined towards right field. It's going to be played on a hop by Cole Calhoun, and Beltran has his second hit of the game. Now 2 for 4. And now the switch hitting Chase Headley, looking for his first hit of the night, will step in. He's 0 for 3 with a fly to right, pop up to second, and a nice running catch by Mike Trout in center field robbed Headley of a hit. One of the 3 outstanding plays that Trout has made in the ball game tonight. I thought it was low, ball 1. The shift is on with Headley at the plate. Ibar on the right side of second. Ground ball towards second. Giavotella goes to Ibar for 1. Ibar to Navarro. And it's a 4-6-3 double play. The Yankees wrap into their second double play of the night. It's on to the bottom of the 8th. Coming up immediately after the game. Ryan Rucco is back in the studio with highlights of tonight's matchup and analysis of the key plays. Plus, get the clubhouse reaction from Meredith Marakovits. It's all coming up on the W.B. Mason Yankees postgame, only on Yes. Angels half of the 8th inning. Cole Calhoun had a double, run batted in, a couple of strikeouts against CC Sabathia. Takes a pitch inside for ball 1. On our Hyundai scoreboard, it's 4-1 Angels here in the bottom of the 8th. Calhoun, Trout, and Pujols for the Angels to face Sabathia for the 4th time tonight. Low and away, 2-0.
Spot for Cole Calhoun right here, 2-0. Mike Trout on deck, Pujols behind him. I mean, you're going to get so many pitches to hit. You eliminate that thought. Are they going to give in to me? You'd expect Sabathia to go fastball here.
He does, and it's grounded towards first, but foul. Nice play by Alfredo Griffin. Back in the day, he was Rookie of the Year in the American League with Toronto Blue Jays.
Alfredo Griffin has been a first base coach here forever, hasn't he? I mean, it's just one of those things you expect to see.
Another one of those guys that took some hits from me. Nice guy, though. Swinging a miss, and it's 2-2. While he was taking hits away, he would smile at you. Trout's on deck. Pujols to follow for the Angels here in the 8th. Call, strike 3, and that was a strike. Calhoun strikes out for the 3rd time tonight. And Sabathia picks up his first strikeout since the 3rd inning. And that's going to be it for CC Sabathia as the Yankees are going to the bullpen here in the 8th with 1 down. We'll be right back.
All the way back to the bottom of the 3rd inning for Mike Trout against Sabathia. Fastball in, home run number 20. Sabathia can't believe it, but that was your Land Rover drive of the game.
Nick Rumbelow will come in and do the pitching now with 1 down. As Sabathia departs after 7 1/3 innings. Second appearance of the season for Rumbelow, and 2/3, a hit, a walk, a couple of strikeouts. 95 pitches for CC Sabathia tonight. 6 hits, 4 runs, a walk, 5 strikeouts, and leaves trailing 4-1. Trout 1 for 3. Fastball hits the corner for strike one. Rumbelow made his major league debut in Tuesday's loss against the Phillies at Yankee Stadium. Wow. 95.
Coming right at Mike Trout. First pitch right down the middle. Second one a little bit on the inner half.
Let's see where he's kind of tough to pick up. He kind of falls back over the mound before he delivers. Let's see what he's going to offer here on this 0-2 pitch. High and away, 1-2. Trout wouldn't bite. Houston Street, the Angels closer. Getting ready. Two and two. Tried to overthrow that one. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, Kenny, you talked about the delivery, how he kind of leans way back from the first base side of the rubber. If the timing isn't right, you're going to see some pitches just like that, elevated in the zone.
And at Scranton Wilkes-Barre, 41 strikeouts in 35 and a third innings. For Rumbelow, here's the payoff pitch to Mike Trout, and it's ball 4. He lost him. Trout is aboard with 1 down here in the 8th. And it'll bring up the dangerous Albert Pujols. Pujols has doubled in a run. He's had a heck of a month of June. He's hit 12 home runs this month. 12 of the 23. Throw over the first to check on Trout. Now the Angels is Flash Jody. They don't run very often. What, 23 steals as a team? They've been caught 20 times. But Mike Trout has 8 of those 23 steals. He has been caught 3 times. He's not going. The pitch is in there for a call strike. Pujols with a double tonight. Tied Tris Speaker, Hall of Fame outfielder. The Cleveland Indians way back with 1,131 extra base hits, 13th on the all-time list. That pitch misses, and it's 1-1.
Those 8 stolen bases for Trout, a number that is way down, and you wonder maybe if he's not running as much, so they would just pitch around Pujols. He got himself in the scoring position.
Another reason why go if you got a guy who's leading the league in home runs at the plate. As Flash said, you get down to second, all of a sudden Pujols not getting anything to hit. Off-speed pitch and a swing and a miss. Albert's swing has not changed much over the years. Quick and efficient. Bat head to ball. Trout at first with 1 out here in the 8th inning. Opening game of a 3-game series. The Yankees head back east. There's an off day on Thursday. Then they open up a series against the Tampa Bay Rays at the stadium. Ball is hit high in the air to left center field. Chris Young is there. He makes the catch, and that is out number 2. Albert just missed that one. He got the good wood, but got under it. And with 2 down, David Freese will come to the plate, the Angel third baseman. That swing we were talking about has produced 543 homers. Freeze tonight is 0 for 2 with a walk. Freeze takes high and away for a ball. Good Monday night crowd here at Angel Stadium. Over 42,000 on hand. And we want to thank you all back east who stayed up late to watch this ball game. Pitch is in there for a strike. You know, the last time I said that, Flash, you're doing the West Coast game via Twitter and social media now. You can communicate all over the world. Twitter people from Europe will say, well, how about us?
Really?
Yeah. Australia watching the ball game. England. India. There goes Trout. The pitch is a strike. The throw to second is not in time. So Trout picks up his 9th stolen base of the season. In the process, puts himself in scoring position with 2 outs. Got a good jump.
Yeah, Brian McCann put on a clinic yesterday in Houston throwing. This is a good throw as well. Accurate, but Trout is a good jump. Going to slide in there head first safely. Perella in front of the bag, tries to go with the swipe tag.
You know, I was asking Tony Pena before the game. I was talking about McCann's throwing, and he said, you know, a lot of times it's not only the catcher with good mechanics and a strong arm, it's the pitchers, how well they hold the runners, how quickly they get rid of it. And he mentioned Nathan Eovaldi in particular, saying he gets rid of the ball quick going towards home plate. Of course, he's got a great fastball too. God, it's inside. And there's 2 balls and 2 strikes to David Freese.
Brian McCann made a throw on Altuve yesterday, who, you know, league leader in stolen bases, and just right on the money, as good as you could do it. A little tougher situation coming in the game late where you don't go through your pregame routine, but still a good throw.
Swing and a missed strike 3. Freeze is gone, and so are the Angels here in the 8th inning. The last chance for the Yankees coming up. It's on to the 9th. They trail by 3. They'll get Houston Street. This East meets West clash here in Anaheim. Coverage begins at 9 with the Audi batting practice today. And The Tri-State Ford pregame. Then we're back with the call, John and I. It's only on Yes. And they are well into a new day on the East Coast. The new pitcher for the Angels, you can see him warming up there, is Houston Street, who blew a save here yesterday. He gave up a game-tying home run to Kyle Seager of the Mariners in the 9th inning with 2 outs. But he ranks 3rd in the American League with 21 saves, and he also has 296 in his career. So he's coming up on a milestone of 300 saves, and that's what he's done so far this year. 21 out of 24 in the save department for the veteran Houston Street.
We'll see how he's feeling tonight after that blown save yesterday. And always you think of Houston Street, a lot of sliders. Joe Girardi going to try to negate that and send up a pinch hitter.
Garrett Jones will hit for Jose Perella, leading it off for the Yankees here in the 9th inning. Yankees down by 3. And the first pitch to Jones is in there for a strike. The Yankees' only run came in the 3rd inning. Alex Rodriguez with a base hit that drove in Gregorius. Street deals, and it's fouled back to the screen, and Garrett Jones 0 for 2.
We talked about that blown save yesterday for Houston Street. Got 2 quick outs, and then Kyle Seager a home run as Featherstone takes over at 3rd base. So he has some negative thoughts going through that mind from yesterday. We'll see if the Yankees can get a few runners on base, make him think a little bit.
One and 2. Garrett Jones has had the most pinch hit appearances for the Yankees this year. This was his he's had 10 at bats in a pinch hitting role with a couple of hits, pinch hit homer, and 3 runs batted in. Here's Brian McCann on deck. Count will remain 1 and 2 as he fouls this one off to the seats. Jones had a big pinch hit home run earlier this year in Seattle. Yankees are just looking for him to get on base here. The shift is on. 3 infielders on the right side. 2 and 2.
Well, he's been calling strikes all night. Manny Gonzalez behind the plate. Mike Scioscia giving him an earful. Take a look at where this fastball off the plate.
The 2-2 pitch. This ball's hit well towards right center field. It's going to be Cole Calhoun with the catch. 1 down in the 9th inning. Maybe not so well. Off the end of the bat, 1 down. That'll bring up McCann, who pinch hit for John Ryan Murphy in the 7th inning and drew away a walk. Got as far as 3rd base in the 7th, but was stalled there. A shift still employed by the Angels. And the first pitch is fouled back. Street is not one of those blazing closers. As you said, his slider is probably his best pitch.
Yeah, and he stays away from it a little bit to the left. His fastball hovers at about 90.
One and 1 on McCann. Yankees looking for base runners at this stage. They have left 8 men on base in the game tonight. So they had some opportunities, just couldn't cash in. And C.J. Wilson and the Angels bullpen. Street falls behind 2 and 1. Tomorrow night, Ivan Nova make his 2nd start since coming back from Tommy John surgery. His first one was excellent against the Phillies. Ball hit in the air to right field. As he was going to make the play. Trout closes the gap. The center fielder makes it. The Yankees down to their last out. 2 fly ball outs. And it'll bring up Didi Gregorius.
Well, we've seen it all from Mike Trout. A couple of great defensive plays, a home run, a stolen base. This is going to be one of those games when you look back at CC Sabathia, threw the ball pretty well, a couple of solo home runs. The Yankees could not get anything going offensively.
First pitch to Gregorius is in there for a called strike. Street in line for his 22nd save of the year. And now the Yankees are down to their last strike, 0-2 after the foul ball by Gregorius. Didi tonight's had a pretty good night. He's 1 for 2. Scored the only Yankee run. Angel fans on their feet here at Angel Stadium, anticipating the final out of the ball game. Did he go? No, says third base umpire Jim Reynolds. Flip a coin on that one. Line drive over Giavatelli into right field for a base hit. Second hit of the night for Gregorius. He keeps it going for the Yankees here in the ninth. And the lineup will turn over and will bring up Brett Gardner.
You're right, Kenny. Most important, keep it going, get a base runner on. Then you start thinking about Brett Gardner, how hot he has been. Just trying to give some of the guys in the middle of the lineup one shot at one big swing to tie it up.
And as Mike Sosa talking to is trying to get the attention of his first baseman, Efren Navarro. He's telling him to come in and guard against the bunt. So you can see he's about even with the bag at first base. Gardner's had a great night. He's 3 for 4. 2 doubles and a single. Continues hot hitting. Street deals and it's outside for ball 1. Yankees need another base runner to bring the tying run to the plate. It is Chris Young on deck. Ball is popped in the air down the left field line. Long run for Robertson. He's there, makes the catch, and the ball game is over. The Angels pick up the win in the opening game of this 3-game series by a score of 4-1. Give Houston Street his 22nd save of the year. C.J. Wilson picks up his 6th win. Even his record at 6-6. There it is, Mike Trout with a big night defensively and offensively. So the Angels win 4-1. And we are going to send it back to our studio and Ryan Rucco, but we'll be back here to wrap it up with more a little bit later on.